Alright, so this is podcast number 4, right? And this is with Marissa, Omar, and we have special guest Tom today. And unfortunately, the last podcast we made got messed up with some audio stuff.
We're gonna do it again.
So we're doing it again. It's a different topic. We talked about veganism on the last podcast, but unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait a couple more podcast sessions until we do that again. But today we're gonna talk about just change in general, the new year coming up.
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah. So all right, Tom, why don't you go first? Tom, go ahead.
What are we talking about?
Well, I mean, just tell us, because for me personally, this year already, just the first day itself, it feels like it's going to be really different. Because last year, the transition to 2015 was really crappy for me. Like, I was by myself, which was fine, but like the energy was not good.
I felt like 2015 had a lot of changes, a lot of lessons, a lot of growth.
Exactly.
So do you guys want to talk about 2015 first? Or you guys want to talk
I
about
guess we can talk about 2015 and then like now this new year and what we think.
So go ahead and talk about your 2015, what you felt happened.
I learned a really important lesson in my 2015 year. I started the year dating this girl, and a couple months into 2015 I realized that I was definitely not meant to be with her, so I had to do the hardest thing ever. I had to break up with her, which was the first time I ever had to break up with anybody. And it was just a really great learning experience because I had to figure out what the right move was and, not be so focused on pleasing other people, but I had to make sure that my happiness was, important too.
So essentially just putting yourself first?
Yeah, that's essentially what it was. And just feeling like an asshole for a really long time, because I had to break this girl's heart. So that was really tough. And then, obviously, I met Marissa, and life has been really groovy ever since.
Oh, for the record, for everyone, Tom and Marissa are dating. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? That's funny that you bring that up, because I learned a pretty similar lesson. I didn't break up with anyone, but just the fact that I needed... So, it was around summertime where I had just exited a relationship that I had for a year and a half. And the toughest part was learning how to be alone, but also understanding that I had so many problems that I hadn't dealt with that I needed to deal with, and I needed to put myself first in every situation possible in order for me to figure those problems out and get rid of them. So I spent a lot of the summer transforming and changing who I was and really learning just who I was, because I didn't know. And thankfully, I learned that lesson, and it was tough, it was long, and it really sucked, and it's not over, but, it's a good... 2015 for me was a very brutal and just, like, no more bullshit kind of thing for me.
Yeah. That's kind of... I talked about this recently in, like, a tiny blog post, but yeah, I was reflecting on 2015, and a lot happened. Like, a year ago... in January is when I started at Crystal Life, and that just opened up my spiritual growth. I was working there so much, I gained all this knowledge, so that happened. I was also sort of dating someone at the time who, I couldn't see it, but wasn't right for me, and was just not comfortable with himself, so, it's what we talked about in one of the podcast, you have to love yourself before you can love others, and he did not love himself.
Yes, that was definitely a big thing last year.
Yeah, so, doing that, and then me having my issues of not being very vocal, I don't speak up for myself, I wouldn't say I'm submissive, but, sometimes I am, I let my voice not be heard, so that was a real lesson for me to gain that confidence and speak my truth and be more assertive. And also meeting Tom, and I think that actually happened when I started to build that confidence in myself. So seeing all these changes happen, getting a job, and just sort of figuring out, a lot happened, so...
a lot of things happen every year, but it's always nice to reflect and be like... honestly, I feel like 2015 was one of the biggest years that I've had in terms of just straight change.
Yeah.
Because it was not easy and it was not fun.
Yeah, there were some good points of 2015, but yeah, it was also a lot of change. But I think the good things happened because of the change.
So like, you know, we changed a lot in 2015, and that's kind of setting us up for just amazing things to happen this year. We go through the tough times, and I feel like this year, and I'm feeling like this year, a lot of good things are gonna happen. And not just because I want good things to happen, because I mean I don't want bad things to happen, obviously, but just this feeling of like, you know, you've done so much. Now it's time to show what you've learned and really preach what you do.
So that's a really good transition point then. Let's talk about what we expect for 2016 then.
I mean, for me, 2016, it's tough. You know, it's always tough to speculate the future. And for me, I've changed so much as to who I am, and I'm learning as to what I want to do in terms of like not only career-wise, but like life-wise. I'm figuring that stuff out, and I'm taking the time, and I'm finally okay with being by myself. I'm putting myself first in life. So I'm taking time out of my day to just, you know, sit down and be like, okay, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do this week? Kind of thing. So I feel like I am really progressing in terms of just, I mean, not essentially like the idea of becoming an adult kind of things. I don't really like the whole adult idea, but just the idea of like, you know, okay, I'm setting myself up to continue to progress in not only my work life, but my maturity, my experience in whatever the hell is going to happen to me in this year.
Yeah, I think the new year for everyone, I mean, we always hear about New Year's resolutions and goals you're going to set, what you'd like to accomplish. We were actually reading an interesting blurb on Facebook today about just how a lot of these goals never get met because people have this, you know, loose steam because they get scared. That's too big of a goal. So, and what you're talking about of setting like small goals and just continually progressing, and I think that's one way we can accomplish what we want to accomplish is these small goals.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the whole New Year's resolution thing, New Year's in general, I feel like a lot of people take it just an excuse to be like, you know what, I'm just going to wait. You know, like, let's say it's December 1st and they're thinking of doing something. You're like, you know what, I'm just going to wait until the new year. Because that's, you know, then it's a new year, I'm going to start fresh, it's a whole new page. It's like, no, it's just, all we do is just add one more number, or, you know, just plus one to 2015.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Nothing, like, you do not change as a person between 11:59 p.m. and 12:01 a.m.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
But I think I definitely feel that energy of, like, the new year because everyone's mindset and consciousness and intention is on this new year, this new. So there's some set, but I totally understand you should not put off a goal just because of, you know, a new year.
It's just the idea of like, people are like, oh yeah, you know what, I need this or this or this in order to accomplish something. So like they use the new year as that thing. Like, okay, the new year's coming, that's going to help me start this new project or something. I don't like that. You need to put in the work each and every day to get where you need to go. That's the point.
You're laughing at me.
Why are you laughing?
So you guys are focusing a lot on the negative right now. I just want to bring it back.
Starting this new year off positive.
So let's keep the topic on resolutions real quick, and then we can talk about our own personal goals. If you guys are you guys down for that?
I mean, you talk about it.
All right,
you'll
cool.
fill in.
Yeah.
So yes, you should have goals to improve yourself all the time. January 1st doesn't have to be the big ticket thing, but for a lot of people, January 1st is a powerful day, and they can set these new goals for themselves, and it works for them. And so, like, yeah, you don't need it, but for people that it works for them, like, we gotta encourage them to do that, you know?
No, yeah, of course. I'm not discouraging anyone to not make any goals any time of the day.
Right.
Just the idea, just realize that yes, it is a new year, but it's really not that much different from starting a new goal on January 1st than it is starting a new goal in March.
Yeah, so we should say then make a new goal every single day, or make a goal every Monday, something like that. It doesn't have to be January 1st, but still having goals, setting new goals, it's a great thing. And it can be a fresh start, because what if someone had a really traumatic 2015, and this is like their mental reset, January 1st, 2016.
Yeah.
And they can finally get on and do what they want to do.
No, I mean, like, you know, the whole idea of, like, you know, 2016 is already feeling different. It's that idea of, you know, just release all of the negativity and all the things that you don't need anymore that you had last year. And, use January 1st, that extra little motivation that we all get from the new year, and just release it and just start fresh, please.
Yeah, it's like the springboard into just starting new, and we can kind of see this in winter in general, like with the seasons, where in winter everything's dead, hibernation of animals, and it's just this cycle of life where death comes birth again, so transformation.
Yeah. I mean, and it's cool. I just want to just talk about that really quick, just divert the discussion a bit. The idea that winter kind of feels like this hibernation mode for me specifically, because you don't go outside much because it's cold. And I mean, I love going outside still, it's fun to do, but like you're mostly indoors. And so you're stuck with yourself for a while, and as long as you're not distracting yourself with a bunch of electronics or like watching TV and stuff, you tend to speculate more on certain issues that you may be having or certain things you need to get done. So it's nice to have that new year, to have the new year start in a winter time period for us up here in the north.
Yeah.
Because it helps us. It's this everything's dead. Here comes this new birth. Let's prepare for it and make a difference.
Well, and winter being connected to the water element, which is our emotions and feelings. So it's, it is a perfect time for all that self-reflection and, releasing of everything from 2015 or that year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Timothy?
fresh.
Timothy.
Well, just to put a topic sentence on it, winter. Time for self-improvement, self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's our topic sentence for this whole conversation. We wandered into it, but there it is.
So, I mean, so you said you want to talk about New Year's resolutions. I mean, what, do you have any?
No, goals, more specifically.
I mean, so go ahead and talk about some goals.
Oh, okay. Well, my goals are get into Bastille, be able to go to school next year. That'd be really cool. I want to push myself to run a 10K and then to do a half marathon. I think that'd be really awesome. And then obviously graduate college. That'd be really cool.
Okay.
with cum laude, so.
So how would you break down those goals to make them?
How do I break them down? What do you mean?
Well, they're big goals. Run a 5K. I mean,
10K.
I know you 10K. I know you run, but to get there, you have to break it down into segments.
Yeah. So I mean, what it comes down to is consciously. I guess if you were talking about running weekly, running not daily because that's a little bit crazy, but if I can set a goal for myself to run 8 miles a week, and then slowly increase that on a weekly basis, I think that'd be the steps to achieve those goals. For getting into Bastille, I have to not be as a procrastinator as I have been.
And apply.
finish my application, and then I have to be as charming as possible to get into that school. And then what was my last goal? Right.
Graduate college.
Graduate college. Sorry, my GPA is fine, but to graduate college with cum laude, that would be the greatest thing for me right now, which means I have to get above 3.5 GPA. So that means that for this coming semester I have to get above a 3.0. I'm sitting at a 3.51 right now, so for this coming semester I have to get at least 3 A's and a B. That's the lowest I could get.
That's not easy. So you're definitely pushing yourself.
Well, I mean, it's my last semester of college here, so it's like the toughest classes right now. So, we'll see what happens. It takes a dedicated study effort, and I have my own little study habits that I use. But I want to hear about your guys' goals.
What's yours, Omar?
Well, for me, it's just been it's more basic. It's not really like specifics like you had. For me, it's just more like, all right, like you know what. I'm going to try and just be the best person I can be in terms of like try really hard, really freaking hard to not judge people. It's going to happen. I'm going to fail. I already know it. It's already happened today. But the point is that just realize just get close to the second of when I judge, be like, wait, maybe that's not them.
Well, that's a good point too, like talking about goals in general, because a lot of people, once they slip up on their goals, they're like, okay, I'm done. I already messed up. So just the fact that you can restart it.
Exactly. Just because you're gonna make mistakes. Like it's we're human. We make mistakes all the time. You can't stop that. But just remember that when you do make that mistake, learn from it and start again. Don't ever stop. It's like, you're climbing a mountain and you're not just gonna, and you make a mistake and for some reason you fall down 10 feet and you're already up 100. Why the hell would you just give up? Go, keep on going. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a shitty metaphor, but
No, that's a great metaphor.
but nonetheless, it's an idea. And overall, just continuing to spread positivity everywhere I can go. Because sometimes I'm a huge optimist, but sometimes with certain people, because I judge or something like that, I'm just super negative, and I need to stop that. I can't go into a situation and be negative. I got to give people the benefit of the doubt always. Always give people the benefit of the doubt. Some people are going to prove you wrong, but for me, I just hope that by not judging and by giving them a chance, that they show me their genuine selves, their authentic selves. And I think everyone deep down is positive and wants to help and wants to, spread positivity themselves. So by giving them the chance, by not judging them, by telling them, hey, I'm not going to judge you. I think you're a great person. Show me that you're a great person, And that's it. Those are two of the biggest things that I'm really focusing on. Also, just the fact of me continuing my studies and just trying to just relax, learn, and be positive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's me.
I like that. I like both of them.
So we have an example here of like a very literal set of goals, which is exactly how I think. It is very left-brained, And then we have Omar's goals. So now we want to hear
Marissa's.
I guess mine's a little bit blended.
Perfect.
I have the goal of wanting to sort of be more spontaneous and kind of go with the flow. I get very caught up in tunnel vision sometimes. I'm a task-oriented person, so I like to complete tasks, and sometimes life isn't always like that, so I have to learn to kind of...
As she points to me, okay.
So just learning to go with the flow, not get so kind of controlling when things don't go my way. Also, I think still, even though I've gone so much with improving on being assertive, I can always improve that. So, but also really wanting to focus on my career, which is more of a literal goal, realizing where I'm at downtown in the city, because I work 2 jobs at Crystal Life, and then I work downtown at a design firm, which I'm noticing is very soul-sucking. I don't like to be negative about it, but it's not my soul's purpose. So I'm trying to figure out what that is and how I get to achieve it. And that's the real scary part, is embracing this unknown, because I don't want to be part of the corporate world. And that's what I grew up on. My dad still works in the same job he's worked at for 40 years downtown.
Yeah.
That's what I've just come to know is acceptable because our society makes it like so. So it's just scary for me to realize I don't want to follow this path.
You know what? I want to talk about how you said, embracing the unknown, and you said your dad has been working the same job for a while, like, doing different things, always challenging yourself kind of thing. Is that what you were getting at?
Yeah, well, embracing the unknown, being courageous.
Yeah, being spontaneous.
Yes.
Yeah. So I actually had a conversation with one of my uncles, because he has been working at his job that he's at. He's actually, I don't know what he does, but he's been doing it for like 2 years now, and that's great. It's good stuff. He makes his living off of that and whatever. But he says, he doesn't like his boss. He actually got this job because the guy who's his boss right now, his boss, he invited him to join him in this business that he had started up 2 years ago, and my uncle helped him bring that business up. Because he's not a bullshitter, so like he does the work and he gets shit done. So he helped bring his boss's business up, crazy amount. And now they're at a point where they're doing well, the whole business is doing well. But now his boss is neglecting him and not showing him like that he's thankful for everything that he's done, or just appreciating him as a person.
Yeah, that's so important.
So my uncle was telling me, he's like, yeah, like I don't know, I don't really like what he's doing. Like sometimes he doesn't even like, pay me the correct amount and stuff like that. And he wants to work for Tesla. He was telling me, he's like, because one of my other uncles works for Tesla. He's like, yeah, you should totally join. I'm like, and he was asking me, what do you think? I'm like, because he likes to push himself. He was telling me how when he was younger, he would quit jobs just because he got bored or he got too good at it. And he always needs this push, and he was really courageous. He never worried about not having a job because he was always confident he would get one, and he always would. So I told him, I was like, with the history that you have, and that you can push yourself, and you're going to get where you're going to get, why not just quit your job? And yeah, it's scary. It's taking that next step in the unknown. I told him, I was like, there's a staircase in front of you. You see that first step, but then there's fog. But you just have to trust that step's going to continue to go up. That staircase is always taking you up. It's not taking you down. That fog is us. That is our own fog stopping us. You need to embrace the fact, you need to be confident in yourself. Mm-hmm. Be confident in the fact that you're going to continue to progress no matter what you do. And as long as you become confident, even if you look at it a year from now and be like, oh, maybe that was a bit of a mistake, it wasn't a mistake because you said to yourself, you know what, I believe in myself and I'm going to do it. So I told him, I was like, you know what, quit your job and work for Tesla. And you can do it. You can do it. You said it yourself. Like, I'm just repeating what you're saying.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do it. I haven't talked to him since, but I'd like to think that maybe he's doing what he wants to do.
Well, yeah, and that's like you rising up and doing that. That's where my struggle is, and that's what I want to work on this year. Yeah. But it's funny how you were talking about that, because Adela, actually, we were talking about that yesterday at the shop. And I'm going to tell you a bit about the Crystal Life's owner, Adela. She used to work at the UN, and she had a really cushy job, but she connects with her guides a lot, and her guides were telling her to leave this job, to embrace her soul's purpose, and to start, selling gemstones and these crystals.
And energetic tools.
Yeah, and she was very afraid of that, and she, didn't want to be on the streets. So it was actually funny. She was saying how nervous she was, but she listened to them. The day after she quit her job at the UN, she got an offer on her jewelry to be exhibited in a collection.
Wow.
So it's just funny how it all kind of connects with what you were saying and embracing this unknown.
It's just, the new year, just bringing it back to the whole new year thing. Don't be afraid to do something. Always push yourself out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And then, that's not a new thing. That's, everyone does that. But the point is that, yeah, we all hear it, but we never actually do it as often as we want to.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, we always say, yeah, I'm going to do it. Don't, we have plenty of time to do all of that. Take the time, say right now, you know what, I'm going to start on this new project that I'm going to do, that I'm going to work on. And I'm going to start it right now. I'm not going to start it tomorrow. I'm going to start it right now or in the next 10 minutes or something. Maybe you're eating, I don't know. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. And it felt really good to talk to him about it.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to talk a little bit about challenging yourself, because that brings up really an interesting point that I can make. So I'm going to talk about this from a biological standpoint. Okay.
All right.
So for those of you guys who don't know, I'm studying kinesiology in school right now, and so I've learned a lot about the muscle systems of the body and everything else, and how the body adapts to challenges. So I'm going to share just a little story to introduce this. If you go outside every single day and you walk your dog, you are not going to be able to run a marathon. You are going to be able to walk that dog. Now that sounds really simple, but if you just keep that same challenge level, you're going to be the best goddamn dog walker in the entire world. But you will not run a marathon. If you want to run a marathon, you have to challenge yourself and increase the challenge put on your body. Your body will adapt to everything. It'll adapt to what it's challenged to. Same thing goes with the brain. You have to think about the brain as a muscle. So you have to challenge your brain to these new levels, to become super successful in what you're trying, to accomplish the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very literal, muscular way to think about it. But, so I guess the goal is here to, yes, obviously get out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. Do something that you don't think with 100% certainty that you can do. Because that's how you're going to improve. That's the only way to do it. Or one of the ways to do it.
Is that all your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that as far as challenging yourself, that's what I think.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's taking, do something you're not sure you can do and prove to yourself that you can do it. Because we are limitless.
Well, yeah, because we'll adapt. That's the main thing. Your body will adapt to the challenges you put it to.
We preach that here. We're limitless.
Yeah.
We just got to continue to show ourselves that we really are.
And yeah, that's the thing with being limitless. Like, you may not be 100% certain that you can do something, and maybe you don't get it right the first 3, 4, 5 times, but if your passion is there and if you're motivated and you just keep trying, you will eventually.
Motivation.
Yeah. That's
so motivation is a great thing, and I'm just gonna bring this up real quick. Motivation is a great thing, but it's so short. It doesn't last long. You can be motivated for something for like a couple of days, and you know what? Maybe you can motivate yourself each and every morning, and that's great. But I think one of the biggest things that you can work on is self-discipline. And just telling yourself, you know what? I don't need motivation. I mean, motivation is great. It's a great tool. Get it whenever you can. But self-discipline is the idea of, every day I'm going to do this no matter what. And I'm going to keep on doing it. I don't care if I'm not motivated. I don't care if I'm sick. I don't care if, I'm busy that day. I'm going to stop everything that I'm doing. I'm going to focus on this one thing no matter what. And when you have self-discipline, you will get shit done.
Very good point.
Motivation to me, and I've proven this to myself, motivation is a great thing. It's a great starting point to get that self-discipline. Damn.
I agree.
I was going really hard on that.
No, yeah, motivation can only get you so far, because, especially because I have a very short attention span, so I'm very motivated for like 5 minutes. Yeah, I know. And then I just am like, I stop projects halfway because I'm no longer motivated, so just getting the discipline to be like, no, I'm going to finish this.
Yeah.
And maybe even just breaking it down. Maybe I don't have the attention to do it all in one day, but hey, maybe if I do 5 minutes a day, it'll get done.
So a great example that I just recently did, this dragon drawing that I have with the mountains and the moon in the background, that I had just the dragon finished for about 2 months. I left it like that. 2 months of not working on it. And it's just a drawing, it's nothing crazy. But it's still something. So after 2 months, I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the next 3 hours and I'm going to finish drawing this whole thing that I wanted to work on. I know exactly how I want it. I know what I'm going to put in it, where it's going to go and everything. I need to stop wasting my time looking at it and start working on it. And I got it done, and it feels amazing.
Yeah.
That's just an example of something recently, just giving an idea. It's a small thing, but it builds up that self-discipline.
Yeah. And reward yourself for when you accomplish a goal, being like, just giving yourself that little reward.
I think that's another great goal for myself for 2016 is working on my self-discipline, just cutting the bullshit, stop making excuses.
I think that works into everyone's goals, though, too, of just being self-disciplined in order to
do anything. Yeah, you're right.
Accomplish your goals.
That's true. Hey, we all got to work on that stuff. So,
yeah.
Tom?
I think another really good way to keep yourself motivated is, like you guys were saying, I want to talk about reflection a little bit more, because if you can reflect on the good things you've done, that will keep you motivated. It's like in biological terms here, it's called a positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
Okay. So it keeps on. It's a self-sustaining cycle. If I want to use a non-biology term, right? So and that ties in really, really nicely to the end of the year here. So I guess the main point here is take time to reflect, and definitely celebrate your accomplishments.
Yeah,
that's a really, really important thing.
Yeah. So the whole self-reflecting thing, we did that at the beginning of this podcast. Yeah, we reflected on 2015 and all the changes that we've been through, and that's motivating us to make this year even better.
Yeah, why lose that steam? 2015 was a great year for change and self-improvement, I think, for all of us. So keep
on trucking.
Keep on going.
Just keep on bulldozing over those walls, man. Don't climb over the wall. Bulldoze the hell out of it. So much faster. All right, is that good?
Either way, you're over the wall, or it's not there.
So if we were going to set up some advice for whoever is listening to this, so as far as goals, make yourself some literal goals. For instance, me running a 10K. Make some non-literal goals, like Omar just wants to work on self-improvement, which we just discussed a whole myriad of ways that you can improve yourself. And then that combination, like with what Marissa has, that's a really, that's a great, plan of action.
So like, make a goal that is attainable. So that 10K, you can do that. Work on running every day. Make a goal for something that is, what I was talking about in terms of just becoming a better person in general.
Yeah.
And also, and I'm going to add on this, make a goal that you think isn't possible for yourself right now. And work on getting towards that goal.
And then how to obtain this goal of just by breaking it down into steps, by being self-disciplined and just, pushing yourself. And also reflecting and realizing how far you've come and not how far you still have to go, but looking back and being like, if I can do that, I can do this.
Just remember, like I said earlier, you're climbing up that mountain. You're already halfway there. Just think of it like you're already halfway there. And you make a slight mistake. Don't worry about it because you've come so far, you don't want to stop.
Yeah.
You don't want to look at yourself, 2 months from now and be like, wow, I was so close and I gave up. Now I got to start all over.
Yeah, because chances are you still probably want what you wanted back then.
All right, so is this good for you guys?
I think so.
All right.
Happy New Year!
Yeah, we wish you all a good Happy New Year and, really focus on spreading some positivity, spreading some self-improvement, and overall just great things are about to happen.
Yes.
All right, so from Tom, Marissa, and Omar, we're signing off for this. You guys take care.
Peace.